What's up, security family? Welcome back to Security Guard Command. Today, I want to talk about a very, very serious issue.
Check it out. Check it out.
All right, guys, so the very serious issue that I want to talk about today is the cartel. And no, I'm not talking about the Mexican drug cartel or any of those drug cartels. I'm talking about the literal meaning of the word cartel, which is an association of manufacturers or suppliers with the purpose of maintaining prices at a high level and restricting competition. An example is the Colombian drug cartels. A historical reference is interesting as well. A coalition or cooperative arrangement between political parties intended to promote a mutual interest. So what I'm getting at here is something that's called antitrust. Antitrust is a very serious situation when it pertains to businesses, and it's not limited to large corporations. Small businesses can fall victim to antitrust violations as well. And especially with the way things are moving in the security industry and how a lot of security providers, service providers are getting onto YouTube and providing their own content, we have to be very careful because we are interacting with each other, and we have to be very careful to avoid the appearance that we are price fixing. Here are some definitions, some things that would point towards violations of antitrust laws. Now keep in mind, these were taken directly off of the Department of Justice website. Price fixing. Agreements among competitors to fix prices, such as agreements to raise, fix, or otherwise maintain the price at which their goods or services are sold. The following exchange is an example of price fixing. Competitor A: will you agree to raise your price for salted peanuts to $1.99 a pound? Competitor B replies, yes, let's raise the price at noon tomorrow. Here's another example. Bid rigging. Agreements among competitors to rig bids, such as by agreeing in advance who will submit the winning bid, agreeing to refrain from bidding, agreeing that some competitors will submit bids that are too high, or agreeing to take turns bidding, being the low bidder. The following exchange is an example of bid rigging. Bidder 1: I'd like to win the bid to demolish the Water Street Bridge. If I get the job for $850,000, I can make some good money. Can you submit a bid above that mine? Bidder 2 replies, sure, I'll come in at $900,000 if you let me have the next one. Bidder 3 replies, okay, I'll plan on it. And a third example, market allocation. Agreements among competitors to divide markets, such as by allocating customers, products, or territories amongst themselves. The following exchange is an example of market allocation. Company A: I will only sell my potatoes north of the river if you only sell your potatoes south of the river. Company B replies, agreed. So you may be asking, why does all this matter? So here are some screen grabs I got from the Department of Justice training video on this topic. Take a look at this email. What do you see wrong with it? So one of the first things we'll notice here is that the two people communicating in this email are competitors. The second thing here is that they're trying to limit the number of bids. And then thirdly, to keep the contracts bidding low to avoid attention and extra scrutiny. So all of these three things are elusive to antitrust violations. And here are some of the reasons why this is such a serious issue. Now, those three examples that I got off of the DOJ website regarding antitrust are really good examples that could be translated into the security industry, especially when it comes to bidding or agreeing to work only certain districts. It basically what these laws boil down to is fairness to the consumer, and these are some very serious violations. And as we grow in the security industry and we start to try to compete against the big security companies, we need to be very careful, because I can guarantee you that those big companies will be watching, and they will not hesitate to jump in and try to accuse us of antitrust, which I wouldn't be surprised if they are already engaged in some of this antitrust. The problem is proving it. A lot of times these antitrust violations occur in very obfuscated ways or very non-obvious ways, and so an investigation has to be very thorough and very very complete. And there can be there are a lot of subtleties in antitrust, and so we just have to be very careful in our communications amongst each other, especially if you are running a security company. And if we're putting out videos on YouTube, we got to be very careful not to have the appearance of suggesting that we fix prices or fix districts or areas that we work in. Being for example, we've got Commander Hall and Mike Alvarez over in Florida, and then we've got companies over here in California. Us discussing things, may not be so much of an issue, because our clients are not the same. Our clients are not going to be impacted, from one end of the country to the other. That's not to say that we should be careful anyway, but if Mike Alvarez and Commander Hall start discussing, how to set prices, they are in such a close regional area that it could be construed as a form of price fixing. So we got to be careful with our communications with each other about that, and alluding to any sort of price fixing. Antitrust comes into play here, and it can be a very serious accusation. I wouldn't be surprised if there is some form of price fixing going on, or even district type of activity going on with these large companies like Allied Universal. They come in and they start swallowing up all these other companies, and they're lowering rates to a point which makes it very hard for small businesses to compete. And that's what this all comes down to, is anti-competition. It kills the competition, and they become a monopoly. So we have to do better as the security industry, as the grassroots organizations that appears to be rising up out of the ashes of the security industry. We are trying to change this industry for the better, to make a better, more highly trained security industry. And so we have to be careful to avoid these antitrust issues. I provided some links in the description to the DOJ website for more information on antitrust. They've got a video available on YouTube as well, link in the description. I recommend that you watch that video and learn about antitrust, because it's a very serious thing. In my experience working in corporate America, every company that I've ever worked for had training on antitrust, because of how serious it is and how easy it is to fall into. And as if you guys are running a security company, I really recommend that you do some sort of training on antitrust with your employees, because your employees could drag you into an antitrust situation unknowingly. So definitely do some training on it, guys. Learn about antitrust and train your employees on it to avoid these circumstances. As always, guys, stay safe out there. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you later.